Morning, sunny skies are ahead. Chris will tell us the good news.
That's one of the areas where the Chinese are punching the hardest.
And the trade war worsens as President Trump heads overseas overnight to meet with top leaders from around the world. How the news could impact discussions this weekend.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, and thanks for starting your day with us here on News 3 Now. It's Saturday, August 24th. I am Keely Arthur, in with meteorologist Chris Reese, who you didn't just see, he was dancing. He said he was moving to keep himself warm. It's actually
it's cold
in the studio, but not going to be very cold outside, at least.
No, at least not by the time we get you towards the afternoon. Things are chilly in this room, but folks, we have a sky full of sunshine out there. We're going to be looking at sunshine as we go through the entire day. Perhaps some cloud cover through southwestern Wisconsin at times, but it really is a nice forecast for us. 59 degrees outside right now, so we're warming up. Winds are calm, dew points are in the 50s as well, and temperatures in general are a little bit cooler than they were at this time yesterday, but I think we're going to warm up faster than we did yesterday. So we'll see how that changes up as we head into the afternoon. 60s towards the lake shore. Get this, there was some lake effect cloud cover this morning, just because the lake is a lot warmer than the ground right now. That was a cool thing, but that's too much science for this early in the morning. 46 in Camp Douglas right now. As we go through your morning, look for those temperatures to warm up to about 70 degrees by lunch. We'll see a high of 77 this afternoon. There's more where that came from, but of course we're tracking at least a chance for some showers and thunderstorms in our main forecast
When you
as well.
said lake effect, when I hear lake effect, I think snow, and so my heart sank. I was like, what?
We are not at that point of the year yet.
Just yet.
We have a whole season to get through first.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center, President Donald Trump has arrived in Europe for the G7 summit in France. Here he is boarding Air Force One overnight with First Lady Melania Trump. The annual meeting of global leaders comes at a critical time for the president as he escalated his trade war with China Friday, causing concerns of a global slowdown to become likely to dominate the discussion at this weekend's summit. Now, overnight, the president justified the latest trade war.
We put a lot of tariffs on China today. As you know, they put some on us. We put a lot on them. We're up to about $550 billion. They've been hitting us for many, many years for over $500 billion a year, taking out of our country much more than $500 billion a year. So we want that stopped.
Late Friday, the president tweeted that the tariffs on $300 billion worth of Chinese goods would increase from 10 to 15% September 1st. And current tariffs on $250 billion in Chinese products would rise from 25 to 30% by October 1st. The latest tit for tat started Friday morning when China said it would place new tariffs on $75 billion of U.S. products in response to a previously planned U.S. tariff hike. China said it would also move forward with previously postponed import duties on U.S.-made autos and auto parts.
That's one of the areas where the Chinese are punching the hardest.
In response to the president's latest tariff hikes, the National Retail Federation said in a statement, quote, "It's impossible for business to plan for the future in this type of environment." Breaking overnight in Wisconsin, the state's Department of Natural Resources says lake levels have dropped rapidly after a water control structure failure. It happened overnight at Beckman Lake, which is part of the Cadiz Spring Recreation Area in Browntown, Wisconsin, about 10 miles west of Monroe. Now, the lake is 63 acres with a usual depth of about 12 feet. The DNR staff noticed the depth drop late Friday and called in dam safety engineers who determined that the tin whistle control structure had been compromised. But they still don't know exactly how it all happened. Officials say the breach is controlled and doesn't pose a risk to public safety. They say that the rate the water is flowing out of the lake right now is consistent with a common summer rainstorm or a spring snow melt. An update on the breaking news we've been following overnight here in Madison. A man is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries after being shot on the city's west side. Police responded to reports of firing along Seminole Highway on the Beltline just before 7:30 Friday night. Officers at the scene tell our crew a car in the parking lot of Rocky's Liquor was hit by gunfire that appeared to be shot from the other side of the Beltline. It's unclear if the 20-year-old victim was in that car at the time. There's no information about a suspect, but police say, thankfully, no threat to the community. Police will continue their search this weekend for the person who killed a 30-year-old woman on Madison's east side. Now, this is the city's first homicide of the year, and police are asking people in the area to stay vigilant because there is no suspect in custody.
At this point, we don't know whether or not she knew the person who killed her, and so there is some danger to the community right now. I don't think we can discount that.
The victim has been identified as Amanda Woods. A preliminary investigation determined she died from what the medical examiner calls sharp force-related trauma. Police discovered the body shortly after 4 Friday morning across from the Salvation Army parking lot near Darbo Drive. If you have any information on this case, you are asked to call police immediately. The Beaver Dam School District says more than 80 cleanup and restoration contractors are working to fix a portion of the middle school that was severely damaged by a suspected drunk driver. In a letter, the district says the gym floor is a total loss and the extent of the cleanup is more complex than what they had originally anticipated. The school's open house, originally scheduled for next Tuesday, has been postponed. And while there's no guarantee, officials hope the school will be open by next Thursday. School starts the following Tuesday. The man accused of crashing into that school, 22-year-old Roy Cortez, is being held on a $10,000 cash bond. He's currently facing a felony charge of fleeing or eluding an officer, causing property damage. And as we continue to help your family get ready to go back to school, parents know that to-do lists can be a mile long. That's why dozens of barbershops across Madison are teaming up this weekend to help you out. JP Hair Design is holding its annual back-to-school free haircuts event tomorrow. Jeff Patterson started the event in his barbershop more than a dozen years ago and saw it quickly outgrew the space. They've since moved the event to the Alliant Energy Center, getting the help of about 40 other barbers to give hundreds of free haircuts, which they hope translates to success over in the classroom.
What we want the kids to do is to go back to school and feel good and look good and want to do good, you know. So once you look in the mirror and see a good look, that kind of correlates into what you do.
The event runs from 10 to 5 tomorrow. Any kid from kindergarten to 12th grade is eligible to get their haircut. The barbers just ask that you make sure your kiddo's hair is washed, combed, and ready to cut before you come in. Happening today, the Orton Park Festival is returning for its 54th year. The 4-day festival has music, food, and fun happening in the heart of the East Side. It's put on by the Marquette Neighborhood Association and features locally and national touring bands. There are a number of local food vendors and artists, kids games, a jazz brunch, and even an aerial trapeze. The best part? It's completely free. Today's musical event kicks off at 11:45 with the final act taking the stage at 8:30 tomorrow. The fest runs from 9 until 8. Some of the best and brightest minds in the state are in Madison right now as part of the 10th annual Forward Festival. The event includes more than 50 events across Madison for community members, entrepreneurs, and other innovators. 30 of those events are new for this year. That includes a roundtable discussion with Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway next Wednesday on why Madison is the best place not only to start a business, but to grow it as well. And the Forward Technology Conference is Monday. It's Players Weekend at Miller Park as the Brewers try to chase down the Cubs and Cardinals in the division. And the Brewers did their part to hold their ground overnight. Wearing nicknames on the back of their uniforms and an all-white alternate jersey, the team hosted the Diamondbacks Friday. Early in the game, the Brew Crew loaded the bases for Mike Moustakas, who goes to the gap in the right center to score a pair of runs. 2-0 Brewers. Then in the bottom of the third, Eric Thames hit a solo shot to dead center. Brewers win 6-1. They are still 3.5 games behind the Cubs and Cards in the division and 3 out of the wild card spot. First pitch tonight is at 6:10. And the Badgers are off today. It's their final Saturday before the new season. But the boys in red will be back on the field to start game week a day early tomorrow. That's because they open against South Florida on Friday. As for how they're getting ready, here's what head coach Paul Chris had to say about that.
I think it helps you a little bit in camp. You're trying to do a lot of things to get ready for the season. And so you end up doing a number of different things. So you then have the ability to maybe pull when you're talking about an in-game adjustment, or maybe you're working on it and just, okay, if this were to happen, then we need to go to this. But there's no doubt that you'll be adjusting a little bit.
Go Badgers. It's 8:10 and you're taking a live look over the Capitol where vendors are getting ready, hopefully for a very busy and sunny day at the farmers market. Chris has your full farmers market forecast just ahead.
Welcome to the weekend, and it is a beautiful day out there, folks. We are talking plenty of sunshine to get your Saturday started, and I think that's just how the day is going to be. Really, not just today, but through the entire weekend, which is a first, because every other weekend this month has featured rain in some way, shape, form, or fashion. It has rained every weekend in August, but this will likely be a dry weekend. No showers or thunderstorms out there right now, or really throughout much of the upper Midwest. You've got a couple clouds over parts of Iowa where I think a shower tried to go up earlier, but with high pressure and control. That'll likely be falling apart rather quickly. Here's a live look outside right now. 59 degrees. Winds remaining calm with the dew point of 54 as well. 50s as you work your way really throughout the entire state. A couple 60s showing up towards the lakeshore at the moment, but that dry, sunny weather will be sticking around, folks. One of the things we're going to be paying attention to is this area of low pressure just back towards the north and west. That will gradually begin to push towards the south and east. As it does so, that will lead to more chances for rain, especially as we head into your Monday. Watch this cold front get very close to south central Wisconsin, and then out ahead of it, you see the rain chances. So we're going to be tracking that. But in the meantime, it's sunshine for this weekend. Look for temperatures topping out around 77 today. We'll cool down into the 50s overnight tonight before warming back up into the 70s headed into tomorrow. Now it's going to be tomorrow night that we start to see at least a little bit more of that cloud cover streaming in along with those rain chances as we head into Monday. So make sure you have the umbrella planned for Monday, but not this weekend. Another thing we're watching is just the cooler air that's going to be moving into the country, folks. As we go through the next 6 to 10 days, there's a pretty strong probability of below normal temperatures throughout much of the country. And it's not just the next 6 to 10 days, but perhaps as we go through the next couple of weeks, we could see some temperatures that are below average. Our average temperature at this point into the upper 70s, and we're looking at perhaps temperatures in the low 70s as we go through your extended forecast, especially as we get you towards your Labor Day weekend. But of course, right now, beautiful weather. We are only watching that rain chance into Monday in the near future.
Chris, it looks like two really perfect weekends to kind of round out the end of the summer.
I know, right in time for the kids to go back to school, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who I'm talking to there.
Fortunately, yeah. I think if you're talking to parents.
I know. I just work with a lot of kids.
Yes,
yes.
So you know the other end of the coin. All right,
exactly.
Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, a new exhibit at the Marshfield Clinic Art Gallery is giving people some nostalgia. The gallery is bringing an all-time favorite cartoon to life and, in the meantime, bringing joy to patients, staff, and community members. Right now, around 60 reproductions of Peanuts comics are on display in the hospital for everyone to check out. Gallery director Bobby Irwin says a lot of people feel like they grew up with Charlie Brown and enjoy seeing a piece of their childhood.
I mean, laughter is the best medicine, and if we can give somebody a chuckle, give them 5 minutes out of whatever they're going through here at the clinic, or just maybe if it's a visitor just coming in off the street, that's really great.
The gallery director says the idea to bring Peanuts to the clinic came from talking with younger kids who haven't grown up reading the comics in the newspaper. The exhibit is free and open to the public, and you can go see it through October 18th. It's 8:17 and a pop singer is returning to her acting roots. Action stars top the list of this year's highest paid actors. Plus, there are several shows and movies you should find time for this weekend. Will shares his picks in 3 things to watch. That's all ahead on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday. Welcome back. Let's take a look at what is trending this morning. It's been a big week for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. First, he got married, and now he tops the Forbes list of the world's highest paid actors. The Rock ranked in more than $89 million over the past year. Next on the list, Chris Hemsworth, followed by Robert Downey Jr. And Demi Lovato is returning to her acting roots, joining Will Ferrell's movie project, Eurovision. Ferrell made the announcement on Instagram while wishing Lovato a very happy birthday. The Netflix comedy follows a pair of Icelandic musicians as they represent their country at the annual Eurovision Song Contest. Along with Ferrell and Lovato, the movie also stars Rachel McAdams and Pierce Brosnan. So far, there's no word on a release date. And we're getting a first look at a new movie about the Roger Ailes Fox News sex scandal. Margot Robbie, Nicole Kidman, and Charlize Theron star in Bombshell, the story of the women who helped bring down the late Fox co-founder in a sexual harassment scandal. The movie takes an inside look at Ailes' interaction with his female employees before he was forced to resign in 2016. Bombshell debuts in theaters in December. And coming soon to Netflix, Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson play Charlie and Nicole, a couple trying to hold their family together while going through a divorce. This is in the upcoming film Marriage Story. The movie tells the story of the breakup through the eyes of the husband and wife. Marriage Story also stars Laura Dern, Alan Alda, and Ray Liotta. It hits both theaters and Netflix this fall. And you don't have to wait for any of those films to come out to watch something in theaters or online this weekend. Here's Will Loper's 3 things to watch.
You let her get away!
Trashy dressing, did it again.
New on home video this week is The Hustle.
I could be the partner you never knew you needed. Teach me your sugar baby ways. Take this to the guest room, butlery person.
Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson star as con artists who compete to swindle a tech billionaire out of his money.
First, listen. There's nothing more compelling to a man than a vulnerable woman. Observe.
Wow, you can just tear up like that. Can you make the tear roll down your cheek? Oh.
No, you try. Are you constipated?
The Hustle is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
Try to be as inconspicuous as possible.
Come through. Yep, blind person walking here. If this person would just scoot over. Would you mind, sir? Sir?
Where'd you get that?
Forever 21.
Well, that's a bit of irony if I ever heard it.
Newly streaming on Hulu this week is the comedy series This Way Up.
We've loved having you here. Oh, God, yeah, I've had the time of my life. Like I said, this is not a spa, it's a rehab facility.
A woman suffers a nervous breakdown and must put her life back together.
You've got a fire in you, and you can use that to burn yourself and everyone else around you down.
Right, well, I was just sort of hoping for the lottery numbers, but okay.
All 6 episodes of This Way Up are available to stream on Hulu now.
She's got a really cute smile. Go talk to her.
Sorry. Sharp elbows, not as sharp as your chin.
What?
And newly streaming on digital HD this week is the film Booksmart.
We have to go to a party tonight.
What?
Nobody knows that we are fun. We didn't party because we wanted to focus on school and get into good colleges.
And it worked.
But the irresponsible people who partied also got into those colleges.
Olivia Wilde directs the film about 2 teens who have been good students all through high school who decide to party it up before graduation.
Put me to your lips.
Hand sanitizer.
Check.
Chapstick.
Check.
Mace. Listen, it is very important that you keep the safety.
Don't touch your eyes!
Booksmart is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
Tonight is your night.
Happy watching. Those are the 3 things you need to watch. And this is Will Loper for News 3 Now this morning.
There is much more ahead on News 3 Now. Next, we're running through the morning's top stories, plus the mounting health concerns for families who have just gotten back from the happiest place on earth. We'll explain ahead. Right now, most flowers don't last forever, but the ones delivered by this pair of childhood friends sure do. How they're using their business to give away pretty flowers and an even more beautiful memory.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. It's August 24th. I'm Keely Arthur. We'll get a check of your first alert forecast with Chris in just a second. But first, here are 3 things to know as you start your day. President Donald Trump just landed in Europe this morning ahead of this weekend's G7 summit in France. The annual meeting of global leaders comes at a critical time for the president as he escalated his trade war with China Friday, causing concerns of a global slowdown to become likely a dominant discussion at the G7 summit this weekend. Now, late Friday, the president tweeted that tariffs on $300 billion worth of Chinese goods would increase from 10 to 15% beginning September 1st. And current tariffs on $250 billion worth in Chinese products would rise from 25 to 30% starting October 1st. Back home, police will continue their search this weekend for the person who killed a 30-year-old woman on Madison's east side, the city's first homicide of the year. Now, police are asking people in the area to stay vigilant because there's no suspect in custody. The victim has been identified as Amanda Woods. A preliminary investigation determined she died from what the medical examiner calls sharp force-related trauma. Police discovered her body shortly after 4 Friday morning across from the Salvation Army parking lot near Darbo Drive. If you have any information on the case, you are asked to call Madison Area Crime Stoppers. And the state's Department of Natural Resources says lake levels have dropped rapidly after a water control structure failure. This happened overnight at Beckman Lake, which is part of the Cadiz Springs State Recreation Area in Browntown, Wisconsin. That's just about 10 miles west of Monroe. The lake is 63 acres with a usual depth of about 12 feet. DNR staff noticed the depth drop rapidly Friday and called in dam safety engineers who determined that the tin whistle control structure had been compromised. But they still don't know exactly why this happened. Officials say the breach is now controlled and doesn't pose a risk to public safety. And switching over to weather, meteorologist Chris Reese with a nice Saturday forecast. Hi, Chris.
Good morning, Keely. Good morning to all of you all. Happy Saturday. You've made it to the weekend again, unless you're me and Keely. We're at work this morning, but there's plenty of sunshine, so it is certainly a good day. It's 59 degrees right now. Calm winds as well, so there's not a breeze to really make things feel any kind of chilly, if you will, while you step outside. The dew points are going to be low as well, and get this, a lot of these temperatures are a little bit cooler than they were at this time yesterday, but as we go through the day, I think we're going to see more sunshine than yesterday, so we'll likely warm up a little bit faster than we did yesterday. So watch the temperatures as we go through time. 57 in Janesville right now. Some 60s do show up as you work your way a little bit closer towards the lakeshore. No one is left in the 40s this morning. So like I said, those temperatures are ramping on up. Look for us to reach 70 by the time we get you towards lunch, and then we'll see those highs right around 77 degrees later on. But everyone wants to know, when's the next rain chance? I'll have that answer coming up in Maine Weather. Keely?
That's what we call a tease. Thank you so much, Chris. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has apparently tackled her 4th bout with cancer. The Supreme Court Justice revealed the 86-year-old received 3 weeks of radiation therapy for pancreatic cancer earlier this month. Doctors found a tumor after a routine blood test in early July, and the Supreme Court says Ginsburg does not require, thankfully, any more treatment at this time. There's a measles warning for anyone who visited Disneyland or California Adventure in Anaheim earlier this month. A teenage girl visiting from New Zealand was infected with the virus while she was at the park and surrounding area from August 11th through the 15th. Healthcare agencies have been working with Disneyland and the nearby Desert Palms Hotel where the girl stayed to reach people who may have been in contact with her. Volkswagen owners, listen up. There's a recall for nearly 680,000 U.S. vehicles this weekend. It's all due to an electrical issue that may cause them to roll away. The automaker said drivers could remove the key after stopping without placing the car in park. The recall covers the Jetta, Beetle, Beetle Convertible, Golf, Golf Sport Wagon, and GTI models from 2011 through 2019. And we're heading to our northern neighbors for this next story about two childhood friends who are turning recycled bouquets into moments of joy over in Minnesota. Adriana Diaz joined the duo as they delivered much more than just flowers.
Hey, Meadow. Hi. I brought you some flowers.
Oh, thank you. Boy, those are beautiful.
Bloomington, Minnesota is in full bloom. That's where you might call Karen Wooldridge and Laura Hogan full-time flower girls.
Hi, Maxine.
An idea sprouted between the longtime friends early last year. Take unsold flowers destined for the dumpster, repurpose and deliver them to those who could use an extra visit, seniors. The flowers deliver a special feeling that inspires both song
oh, say, can you see?
And dance.
Well, I took dancing.
I can tell.
Yeah.
You're good. We started working on our kitchen island, and we were really proud of delivering a dozen or 2 dozen flowers.
Then what happened?
What happened, Laura? We bloomed. We bloomed is what we say.
Now they rearrange nearly 1,000 bouquets a month with 150 volunteers working 5 days a week.
Maybe just the hydrangea.
This is Bluebirds and Blooms, named after the pair's childhood youth troupe, the Bluebirds.
Okay.
The flowers brighten 30 communities.
It kind of opens a conversation. It opens a door.
Mostly homes for seniors with memory loss, like the Welshire.
This is for you. Beautiful. I'm not used to this.
Veli Larson has dementia. Some memories may have faded, but her daughter Karen Schwartz was in the same Bluebird troupe as Wooldridge and Hogan, and Veli taught them all music.
What did you think when they gave you the flowers today?
I just was in shock, and I thought, why? Why would they give me flowers?
I think they just wanted you to have something nice.
But, believe me, I took them real fast, and they're not getting them back.
When they deliver flowers to her, she'll call, she'll describe them to me, and give me a flower report every day.
The flowers are also a reminder that someone cares, even if the memory of who has gone, says the Center's Director of Life Enrichment, Cheryl Hassan.
That was pretty special. I know it was. They're confused and sad, and just to have such a simple thing as a bouquet of flowers just brightens their day. Families will come in and they'll say, oh, who got you flowers? This is beautiful. And it says, thinking of you. So the resident can just say, oh, somebody was thinking of me.
So if you pluck off all the little guys.
For Wooldridge, the act of kindness brings back fond memories of her father, who had Alzheimer's.
I know he would have loved visits from these women, he would have called them girls, coming in with a bouquet of flowers. It would have made his day.
What do you think your father's thinking of what you're doing right now?
Oh, gosh, I haven't thought of that, but he would be so proud.
Is it ever difficult doing this kind of work? You're with people who are struggling with memory loss, and you're with them every day almost. Does it weigh on you?
It's happy to us. It's doing something good. On Tuesday, a woman said to me, "You've made my day." And I just looked at her and said, "Well, you've made my day."
Returning the favor with flowers. Adriana Diaz, Bloomington, Minnesota.
Everybody make me happy.
Bunker in northern Wisconsin, where a wanted fugitive spent more than 3 years, has officially been dismantled and cleared overnight. The State Department of Natural Resources has been working all week to remove several loads of trash. They disposed of it at the Marathon County landfill, where the material was scavenged. Staff also dismantled the bunker to eliminate any ongoing safety concerns. Deputies arrested the fugitive back on August 9th. Now, that man was wanted on several child sex crimes and is currently being held in the Portage County Jail. A Stoughton dad is without thousands of dollars worth of fishing poles and, more importantly, a meaningful part of a family tradition. Earlier this month, Matthew Jones noticed 8 fishing poles were stolen out of his car. For his sons, it's much more than a financial loss. The boys were planning a fishing trip for the weekend after the robbery, but had to cancel it because they didn't have any gear.
It was a way for them to de-stress. It was a way for them to enjoy life. It was everything to them. That's where they found peace and tranquility.
Jones says the family fishing pools will eventually be replaced. Well, maybe fishing is part of your weekend or you're looking for something else to do. We've got you covered. The Weekend 608 is just ahead. Stay with us. It is the weekend in the 608.
And here's a look at what's going on in the Madison area.
The Orton Park Festival has been a late summer tradition for decades. It's known as Madison's original outdoor music festival. The event runs from 11:45 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. today, and then on Sunday it restarts at 9. You can hear from musicians with local roots as well as ones as far away as Columbia.
Also happening today, the Momentum Urban Arts Festival. It brings in over 50 street artists from around the country to spend Saturday painting murals on buildings along Monona Drive, Cottage Grove Road, and East Washington Avenue. The art aims to transform parts of these roads into works of art.
Very cool. And for all you 80s music fans out there, this weekend you can make your dreams come true when Hall & Oates plays at Breeze Stevens Field. Now, this iconic pop rock duo is set to take the stage at 6 p.m. Sunday.
And the circus is coming to town. Vernardo Circus is a 15-member Broadway-style circus performance that has set up shop near Westtown Mall. The traveling group consists of acrobats, magicians, there we go.
Probably some musicians, too.
There might be, contortionists and more. It'll all be in town until September 2nd.
So many great things to do and great weather for it as well.
Exactly, and you're looking live over the Capitol right now. Just so beautiful out there. I'll have your full forecast next on News 3 Now.
But first, if you have a little kiddo turning 3, let us know and we can show their picture over on our airwaves. Thanks for watching.
You know, it has rained every single weekend this month. The first weekend of August, the second, the third. Literally, it rained every weekend. But this could be the one weekend of the month that we actually don't have rain. And oddly enough, it's been a month that we've received about half of the normal rainfall. It's just that most of those rainy days have been on the weekend. But plenty of sunshine out there right now. We're not tracking any showers or thunderstorms throughout high-resolution Doppler this morning, although there's one lone little cell that tried to pop up over southeastern Minnesota. Even still, the air fairly dry. Any cloud cover, that's going to be across parts of Iowa this morning, so things do remain full of sunshine for us. That's exactly how it looks outside right now. 59 degrees our temperature, so we're starting to warm up. Get this, some areas started out in the upper 30s this morning. Winds are calm, but the dew points are still fairly low, so it does still feel very good as you step out the door. So let's open the door to temperatures outside right now. 64 in Watertown, Waukesha at 63, Milwaukee at 69. They're warming up on the lakeshore. Camp Douglas, which is one of the spots that was in the 30s this morning, is now at 52. But we're staying dry and we're keeping that sunshine around, all thanks to this area of high pressure over the northern Great Lakes. But one of the things that we're going to pay attention to is this friend that we have across the high plains and the northern Rockies. That cold front will begin to push our direction as we go through time. At the same time, our region of high pressure is going to slide over towards the east. This allows for a more southeasterly wind flow to come our direction. That works to put more moisture into the atmosphere. And then once the cold front arrives from the north and west, it unzips that moisture, and then we see rain chances. Now, those rain chances aren't today, they aren't tomorrow, but this is going to be Monday, particularly Monday afternoon. So plan the umbrellas for that day. Now, once that cold front sweeps on through, we'll likely dry out behind it. But let's time out your weekend for you, because that's what's here in the forefront. 77 degrees as we get towards your high this afternoon. We'll start to cool down into the 50s overnight tonight, and then more sunshine and temperatures in the 70s for your Sunday afternoon. It's going to be overnight Sunday into Monday, though we'll start to see the clouds move back into the picture along with the chances for some rain. But this cooler air has been brought to us by this dip in the jet stream, and we're going to see another dip as we head towards next weekend in time for your Labor Day. So this will actually lead to perhaps some cooler than normal temperatures throughout the center part of the country. In fact, the middle part of the country as a whole has a fairly large probability of being colder than normal going through the start of your September. We're talking temperatures into the low 70s, given that our average temperatures are in the upper 70s right now. Again, that chance for storms on Monday. We could actually see another decent chance for storms next Friday. But then Saturday, Sunday, and your Labor Day really look award-winning out there, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it needs to make up for it, since I'm hearing you say 30, 40
It
degrees.
was just this morning.
I'm not ready to hear those
okay.
kind of numbers,
We still have a lot of time before we truly get there.
Promise?
I promise.
All right. I'll take your word for it. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
And you can stick with News 3 all day long. And then tomorrow morning, 2 teachers in Rock County are out of hundreds of dollars after falling victim to a new kind of scam. We'll share what it is at 6:30. But first, on the road again, we catch up with an 89-year-old grandma who's making her way by car across America. What she's seeing and learning along the way, and what all of us can take away too. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Finally this morning, an 89-year-old grandma is nearly halfway through a road trip to visit every national park in the country. Joy Ryan, known as Grandma Joy, is from a small town in Ohio, and until 4 years ago, she'd never seen a mountain or an ocean, but that all changed.
Chip Reed met with Grandma Joy and the grandson, taking her on a cross-country joyride at Virginia's Shenandoah National Park. It's one of the stops on her mission to see the best of America.
On the road again.
You better believe it.
In Virginia's Shenandoah National Park this week, Brad Ryan and his grandmother Joy admire the spectacular view of the valley far below.
Oh, they're so pretty. I love butterflies.
It's one of 29 national parks the two have visited over the past 4 years, from the redwood forest of California to the Gulf Stream waters of Florida.
When I get too close, he'll be alligator lunch.
Their goal is to visit all 61 national parks.
We're in the Badlands.
The extraordinary journey began after Joy, then 85, told Brad she regretted that she'd never seen an ocean or a mountain.
I never climbed one, but he fixed that.
So you climbed a mountain once. You don't have a burning desire to climb another mountain?
No, I think that'll be sufficient. Oh, yeah, I like this.
But they didn't stop there. 2 years later, they set out on a 28-day camping trip.
We stayed in the tent every night.
And we had our routine down. The moment that we pulled into the campsite, she was assembling the tent stakes.
Brad says he's always known his grandmother had an adventurous spirit, but she continuously surprises him.
To see your grandmother not just walk across the Great Sand Dunes National Park, but then roll down one. Whoa, okay.
I just thought it'd be fun. Just because I'm old means I can't do anything.
Brad created an Instagram account to share photos of the trip. Recently, their journey went viral worldwide, and Grandma Joy's name got lost in translation.
Some countries have now misconstrued her first name, and they've been calling her Grandma Pleasure, which is uncomfortable.
How do you feel about people calling you Grandma Pleasure?
I think it's funny.
You think it's funny?
I think it's mortifying.
Grandma Pleasure.
Oh, heck, live it up. And that's Devil's Tower.
Right, and Mount Rushmore.
Yes. Oh, it was beautiful to see that.
Life has not always been so beautiful for Joy. She was widowed 25 years ago and had to work a low-wage job until she was nearly 80. 2 of her 3 sons died in middle age.
A lot of people move through their tragedy with a darkness about them, and she has never shown that.
Someone asked me, why do you smile all the time? And I said, would you rather I be an old grump?
Brad and Joy have received messages from people all over the world inspired by their journey. Those who tell them,
I'm not going to waste another day, and I'm going to make sure that I do this with my grandmother sometime.
That could also apply to a mother or a father or a grandfather.
Anybody you love. Anybody you love.
There's a lot of love here.
Yep. I wouldn't trade him for nothing.
Me neither, Grandma. Thank you. Love you.
I love you too, Brad.
Love, the fuel that powers this epic journey. Chip Reed, Shenandoah National Park.
What a cute story. What a cute grandma.
I couldn't get over the line where she said, you know, why do you smile all the time? Well, would you rather be an old grump?
And we're smiling
Amen.
about a lot of things this
Plenty
morning.
Of things, yes.
And especially the
forecast. Weather?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
Plenty of sunshine out there as we go through today. Temperatures will top out right around 77, 78 on Sunday. Monday, it's going to rain. That's okay. You're allowed to shed 1 tear and 1 tear only for the rain on Monday, because the sunshine comes back through the middle of the week, and then your Labor Day weekend could not get any better. It just truly couldn't.
Sunshine coming back, and Chris and I will be back tomorrow morning starting at 6:30. We'll see you then.